I am very pleased to have with us on the program Mr. Mark Miller, the owner of Double M's Pizza in Charleroi, Pennsylvania. Mr. Miller, thank you for coming on the program tonight.
Hey, thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
My pleasure. I wish you were under better circumstances. First of all, let me tell you, I'm sorry you were robbed at gunpoint over the weekend.
Yeah, thanks. It's not a fun place to be on the wrong side of that muzzle. So
yeah, I can imagine. And was it as a result of what happened over the weekend that made you decide, I want my employees to be able to protect themselves?
Without a doubt. We've had a couple drivers more or less mugged in a bad area, which we've since put limits on what times we deliver there. But my policy in the past had always been, no weapons. This is a small town. It's not the inner city, and it shouldn't be needed. However, this incident Saturday, a guy comes in with a ski mask and he's toting a shotgun. It put a new perspective on things, and I believe it's really a bigger issue, too, of what's going on and what's been going on in our country. Americans need to wake up and realize that the inner city crime is migrating out into the suburbs, into the small towns, and people in small neighborhoods everywhere are going to start facing these problems. And I believe that the best solution to the problem is having an armed populace where these thugs are walking around. They're going to be a lot less brazen if they know that there's a chance that somebody where they're at has a weapon and that they have the skill to use it. They're not going to get away with it as much.
Yeah.
I fully believe in the Second Amendment.
And matter of fact, you now have a sign outside your store that says, "We now carry."
Absolutely.
Good for you. So what have your employees said? I mean, have you talked to them about the need for them to be able to protect themselves?
Well, some of them obviously are concerned with any another attempt, another, as the hoodlums taking this as a challenge, and they're going to come back better armed.
Mm.
It was a tough decision for me to make, and I'm going to, allow the employees to carry if they want to. But they're going to have to prove to me that they have permits and that they went through a safety training class and everything to get by a certified instructor. I just think that if people would stand up and speak up instead of just staying silent and condoning this activity, probably mostly drug-related. I think that's where America kind of fell off the rails there a few years ago, and it's an ongoing problem, and it's only going to get worse if we just continue to ignore it.
Well, and I got to tell you, Mr. Miller, over the years, this has been an issue that has just, I don't know why it stuck with me, but I've covered a number of stories where delivery drivers have had their concealed carry license, they've been carrying, they've been robbed, and they were able to defend themselves. And sadly, in some cases, when they worked in particular for a lot of the big chains like Pizza Hut, these drivers ended up losing their job. I mean, they saved their life, but they lost their job as a result of their company's policy. So I got to tell you, I'm really pleased that you're changing your policy and you're going to allow your drivers who are concealed carry holders to carry. One of the reasons I've heard that these big chains, don't allow their drivers to do this is because of liability concerns. Are you concerned, Mr. Miller, that your insurance costs are going to go up if your drivers are allowed to carry? Are you worried about liability at all?
Very much so. That's why another reason it was such a tough decision to come to with the liability issue. And I think any life, especially the people around you and the people is much more important than any amount of money. And that's where I stand on that issue. I think the God-given right of a person to protect themselves supersedes any written law or anything else in life. So, if the result of my decision it turns out badly, and I'm incurring some liability from that, that's a decision, or that's a result that I'd rather have than to have to get a call late at night and say, one of your employees has been shot.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, listen, I commend you for doing your part and doing your best to make sure that your employees can protect themselves. Now, I confess, I did not know where Charleroi, Pennsylvania was until I looked it up on a map. You're not too far away from Pittsburgh, PA, are you?
No, not at all.
Well, you got the NRA annual meeting coming up at the end of April in Pittsburgh. You think you can take some time away from Double M's? Do you deliver to the convention center? I mean, I realize it's 25 miles, but oh, really?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I would like to have that much of a population within my delivery area, but I don't see that happening. Another thing I wanted to mention. I'm part of a group. We're kind of trying to restore America back to the values that made us the great nation that we are. And on 4th of July in Washington, D.C., we're going to hold a rally for constitutional government, a big barbecue, get all the Americans together, and maybe, hopefully, show D.C. and the politicians that, we're not really happy with all the spending they've been doing and everything else. So any of your listeners and any of your association would like to join us down there in D.C., we're planning on having, quite a rally there.
Well, listen, Mr. Miller, I appreciate that. And maybe as we get closer to the 4th of July, we can touch base with you. And I hope that we get to see you in Pittsburgh at the NRA annual meeting in April. I hope you'll maybe you and some of the employees who aren't working that day can come up.
Well, I will do my best to put that on my calendar and make it, and I'm sure some of my 9/12 people will be there, and my Tea Party associates. We're all Americans, and I think we're finally starting to wake up as to what we need to do to exercise our rights before we lose them.
There you go. Mr. Mark Miller from Double M's Pizza. Can't thank you enough, sir, for coming on the program tonight, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thank you for having me. Maybe we'll see you in Pittsburgh.
All right. Mark Miller from Double M's Pizza.